Welcome to today's episode, everyone. We've got a very exciting guest for you guys. For those of you just joining the podcast, we're E.N.G Media, and we specialize in helping software and technology companies scale their revenue. So if you want to learn how to take your software or tech business to the next level, make sure to stick around. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop us a word growth in the DMs. But without further ado, Neeraj, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. I'm really excited to dive into Neeto and for our audience to kind of find out a little bit more about what you're working on. So I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, really excited about it.
Awesome. So maybe we can start by you just kind of explaining to the audience a little bit about what Neeto is, kind of your whole idea behind it, and then what your role is kind of in the day-to-day.
Yeah, sure. So Neeto is an umbrella term under which we are building multiple products. Some of our popular products at this point of time are Neeto Cal, which is a Calendly alternative, Neeto Record, Loom alternative, Neeto Chat, Intercom chat type of solutions, Neeto Desk, Zendesk, Freshdesk,
Right.
Neeto Invoice. So you see the pattern. Similarly, we have Neeto Planner coming up and Neeto Wireframe. So the idea behind all these Neeto products is to build a cost-effective alternatives to mainstream products, which these days almost all businesses need. I mean, these things have become like a pretty much needs of all the businesses.
Yeah.
And currently, what's happening is that people are buying multiple products to meet these needs.
Right.
So you might be using Intercom, you might be using Typeform, you might be using Zendesk, you might be using some invoicing software, you might be using Loom, you might be using Calendly, Cal.com, etc.
Yeah.
So and that has multiple challenges. One of them is that some of them are like, okay, well, which one we have paid, which one we have not paid. Team members, who has access to what, time to time you'll get a ping, hey, I don't have access to this, etc.
Yeah.
And not to mention the most important thing is all of them are very expensive.
Yeah.
So now let me elaborate on that. They are expensive not because they don't provide the value for the features they offer. Most of them are price justified in that sense. The problem is that majority of the businesses do not need all the features that they are offering.
Exactly.
And in order to solve that problem, they have put like multiple tiers, but still I feel like the basic tier itself starts at freemium something, but very quickly you want to get anything done, then the cost shoots up. And my favorite pet peeve is when people put something like Google login on a higher plan. Because of that, now I need to do one password, and
Yeah.
it's like, man, it's just, dude, that's a security stuff. Just can you make it a little bit on the lower tier so that we all have higher sense of security?
100%. Yeah. And I think too, and that's a great example. Also, I was going to ask you, like, I start to see a lot of these larger, I guess, software companies. They kind of, like you mentioned, they have stuff on like a higher tier that I don't really understand, like the justification behind it, really.
Yeah.
Usually. And so I think that like what stood out to me with Neeto was that you guys have an option where people can start for free. And so they pretty much get access to all of the features that you offer for maybe like Neeto Cal or the CRM that you guys have. But then whenever you go to the paid version, not only is it cost effective, but you also just remove your guys' branding from
Correct.
the software. And so that's great to know that like you guys actually still offer all the features. Really the only difference is the removing of the branding, your guys' branding, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't have any price tiering. So let's take example of Neeto Record, which is a Loom alternative. So all the features are available in the free plan. The limitation is 200 videos each month, and each video cannot be of longer than 15 minutes.
nice.
And third thing is need to record branding. So once you go to the pro plan, these three limitations are removed. That's all. So we don't have multiple tiers. What it means is that tomorrow we release a new feature, and as we do, all those features are available to the people in the free plan. That makes documentation much easier, because anytime when you have tiers, then when you're looking at their help document, you need to ensure that you're looking at the right tab also.
Right.
And let's say the team of 15 people are there, and they say, hey, why don't you look at that? Person needs to know which plan we are in. So always you need to know which plan you are in, right?
100%.
And then, and many times there have been issues when I worked on client projects as
Uh-huh.
part of the consulting. There they I looked at it and then say, why this feature is not available? Hey, yeah, yeah. Oh, because of cost cutting last month we downgraded. So
Uh,
everybody needs to know what is your current plan is there,
right.
and that just adds so much friction in terms of getting the work done and knowledge and things like that. So here we don't have any pricing tiers. You either it's a usage based, mostly it's usage based, or in sometimes like in NeetoCal it's a seat based. But in NeetoCal the same thing. There literally you remove your branding in you remove our NeetoCal branding from by becoming the pro member. Other than that, every single feature is available in the free plan.
I love that. And I think too, especially you'd think that like the tier system would kind of solve for like a lot of the, kind of like, what you're paying for and you obviously get access to more features. But I think even last time we talked and what I see in my experience, like for example, I use a CRM and I won't say the specific name, but the price that I was paying on the tier that I've been using, I'd been paying it for a year. And then in that second year of using it, the price had actually gone up
Yeah.
for the CRM I was using, but I wasn't using any kind of new features. Like I was still using it for the same things. But I would be getting their marketing emails and I would see all of the new features that they were adding for like the enterprise size companies. And it was
Correct.
almost like us users, even on the lower plan, were kind of paying for those new features is what it seemed like. Do you see that happen a lot and often in your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I see it all the time happening. My favorite example is something like, say, Intercom or Typeform. Both of them are they are 10 plus years, I think 13, 14 years old
Mhm.
company at this point of time. So they've absolutely nailed the market. They are the category leader. They have a perfect product market fit. What we need to think about is that what do you think their engineer shipped last week?
Mm.
Not something that you and I need. When I say you and I, meaning that we are not Fortune 500 companies, right?
Right.
Small businesses, well, we need the basic stuff, and basic stuff they nailed it 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, right? That's why they are so successful.
100%.
But the last week their engineers shipped something which the enterprise people are paying for it. Nothing wrong with that. That's because enterprise people companies have money, right? So
Sure.
they're going for money, which is great. Nothing wrong in that.
Uh,
The problem happens is that because you're adding these features, and obviously that takes people and the research and the maintenance and the
ah,
documentation and support, that cost goes up, and then you pass on the cost to everyone, not only just to enterprise plan. Hey, we need to raise the base plan, etc. Well, now I'm paying for that. That's one problem.
100%.
Second problem is that I was happy with the feature, now you increase the price, fine.
Yeah.
But because you keep adding these new features which are needed by enterprise companies, those features have an adverse impact in the usability of the product for the people who don't need those features.
100%.
These features are not orthogonal, they're not 100% removed.
Yeah.
It's just the way the software works that they leak, they seep in, and now you have more choices. Previously there was one thing which small businesses need.
Right.
Now there are three different things you need to choose from.
100%.
And now that, okay, why am I even being presented? And sometimes I don't even understand that lingo, because they say, oh, do you want this? And what is this?
Yeah.
Well, because I'm not the audience.
Right.
Right. It's not that they've done a bad job. It's just that I am not their ICP. I'm not their ideal customer. The product manager, the PM who built that feature and wrote that copy,
Yeah.
was talking to Salesforce. And
Gotcha.
Salesforce, that's a common lingo in the Salesforce.
100%. Yeah. So really, with kind of what you guys are doing at Neeto, you're just focusing on like the main specific things that companies would need when they're looking for a potential calendar automated scheduling solution and things like that. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like whatever small businesses need, and then the question that I get, and okay, once those needs are need, then what do you do? Well, unlike those companies who are a mono product company, like say Typeform, what do you do? I mean, they keep building the Typeform because their name is Typeform. Their entity is totally wrapped up in the form business, right? So they keep being in the form business. They keep building the features, which we don't need.
Yeah.
In our case, because Neeto is not Neeto form, that's why Neeto is an umbrella term under which we have multiple products. We move the engineers from that product to another product, or the team size is reduced, because we don't want to be building the features which are absolutely complicated. And we have bunch of products to cover. Like right now we are at around 10 to 15,
Nice.
but we do want to expand it to around 30, 35 products, which is what a business needs. I mean, it's mind-boggling that thinking about that. Do I really need 30, 35 products? Actually, you do, all the way from your domain to your
Yep.
website hosting to your error reporting to your reports and the customer support tool, then your own project management board and
Right.
things like that. So
100%.
all together, you need around 30, 35 products.
And you don't realize that, especially when you're starting up like your first company. I know when we started up ours, I didn't realize that. I heard people were using lots of softwares, and I'm like, yeah, that's not necessarily. And then sooner than later, I'm paying for 35 different software. I'm like, what the heck
Correct.
happened, man? So I
Yeah,
think that
correct.
maybe there's even some good opportunity for you to. And I love that you're serving like small to medium sized businesses as well as startups, because I think almost in a way when you guys are at, you successfully achieve what you see for your product roadmap, and you guys have all of those 35 different softwares that are cost effective for people, you can almost build out like a roadmap of like, these are the softwares that you'll probably need first, all the way into like, once you're looking to scale your business, these are the softwares that are going to be able to help you. And then not only will they be cost effective, but it'll be simple for them, and something that they can understand. And I think that that's where a lot of businesses have trouble scaling, is like having the right softwares, understanding how to use them, and like scaling it the right way. So is that kind of something that you could see you guys doing, is like laying out a roadmap of exactly what softwares would work for a specific startup kind of as they grow?
Yeah, I mean, but we are still far from that, because I feel like first 20, 25, 30 products is just instantly you need. You don't even need later. You need it right now. For example, the moment you start a business, you need to have calls with people, maybe with your customers, maybe with the vendors, partners.
Yeah.
So you need to call. Well, for a communication, you need it to record. Initially, used to people think about the intercommunication. These days, 90% of the questions I'm answering on my Neeto customer support with a video. What happens? It's much more enriching. Hey, can you click on this thing here, and this will solve the problem. Otherwise, I will have to type the whole thing. Go to settings. Go to video is much more enriching, right? They can
Yeah.
hear. So if you look at it, so all these products, they are just totally like a Neeto form. We use the form as a conditionals and things, etc. Google form is great, but I feel like if only Google form, I always joke that if only they add the conditional thing, half of the form businesses will disappear tomorrow. But until Google form adds that, well, you need conditional thing, because hey, are you
Yeah.
of the age 18 or higher or lower? Because are you an existing patient or new patient? I mean, conditional logic is a very fundamental things in the form. So
Yeah.
those are the fundamental things that we are building. One is, a story I remember about the pricing thing, which I want to talk about. I think somewhere I came across like a couple of years ago. This was a YC company which looks at your bill, SaaS bill, and then tells you where you are overspending, and you need to give them their API access and things like that. So that tells me, dude, when you are working with 30, 35 companies, and these companies are charging you so much, and you might not be using them, this software, and you're being charged. For example,
Right.
let's say that you are using, say, Freshdesk for your ticketing system. One day, one of your engineers needed to look at something. So you can add that as a person, as a guest. Well, next day again there is a billing issue. You get irritated adding the person, so you added that person, team member, right? In a week or two, that issue is resolved. Now that person is there for months, until one day finds out, hey, why this guy John has this access? He
Right.
doesn't need to log into that, but you're paying for it because the per seat basis, right? So those are the issues that I'm talking about, where the businesses, it's hard to run your own business, and on top of that, you need to keep track of which SaaS software you're using and how much you're paying for it.
Right.
So what our philosophy is that, let's say you added somebody to Neeto Desk. Well, it's a per seat basis. First 10 agents are free. After that, agents will be charged. But we will not charge if that agent in a particular month has not replied to the customer at all.
Oh, wow.
Which means that, yeah. So what I want to do is to be working with the company. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not using the service, you should not be paying for it. Just logically. You added the person for that month, and the person looked at it, asked a few billing questions. After that, now you need to remember to remove this guy.
Right. 100%.
Why, man? Let software be your friend. Like, you don't need to worry about it. You don't need. So that is the nature of. So when I'm talking about when we are trying to be cost effective, not the cost effective just in terms of competing on the price, but competing in terms of peace of mind also. That with you, with us, with Neeto, you will be paying for fair use. If you're not using the software, we are not going to bill you.
100%. And then I think for it to make kind of sense for you guys on your end as well, do you look at like a specific, so let's just take, for example, you have somebody that comes to you and they want to use Neeto Cal. Are you essentially looking to ascend them into using multiple different softwares, like each individual user, or do you mainly have people just coming to you specifically for one thing?
Yeah, you won't believe how many people give us the feedback that, hey, accidentally I discovered more products. Why don't you like do more pushing that your products you should push? Because I discovered it after 2 weeks. Someone said after 2 months. I wish I had discovered earlier. We are happy to hear those stories, but at the same time, I don't want to come off as too pushy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let people discover it. They'll find out it's there. It's kind of buried. We might do a few things to make it more prominent, but our job here is not to push, because we
Right.
will be building a lot more products.
Yep.
And we don't want that, okay, every single product. If we are using some other software for, say, we are going to be building an e-signature tool, something like alternative to a DocuSign. Now, if you're already using some software and signatures are getting done and it's fine, then that's fine. No need to worry about it. Whenever you are ready, you can use one of the products. Otherwise, just use whatever helps you.
100%. I could see people getting kind of maybe confused if you push a specific software over another one. They might think that that's all that you guys have to offer, in a way. And so I think like once you do look to bring awareness to Neeto, you could just talk about the overall strategy of what the software that you are providing, the fact that you're trying to be cost effective and you're trying to give people more of a peace of mind when they're just using all of these softwares for their business. So I love that.
Correct. And from like the way I pitch Neeto, I don't like to talk about Neeto, because the reason why I don't like to talk about Neeto, I'll always talk about Neeto Cal, Neeto Record, because nobody wants a bunch of software.
Right.
Why would you want a bunch of what you want? People want their problems to be solved.
Exactly.
So then let's say that somebody has asked me, or like some people tag me that, hey, this might be a good tool for Neeto. They just remember Neeto, so they type at Neeto and Neeto HQ and Twitter comes up, they do it. But then I see what the context is. Oh, they're talking about Loom alternative or video recording tool. Then I start talking about immediately, hey, okay, well, yeah, these are the features of the Neeto Record and things like that. And you come to Neeto for Neeto Record, and then fine. First, we need to have one product and win your mind and heart, right? Because last thing we want is that you sign up and a bunch of things you need to change your workflow.
Right.
No. Yeah, nobody wants that.
Too much
And then
friction.
gradually people, and since we have unlimited plan in pretty much everything, even in Neeto Desk, you can have unlimited people, meaning that they can come and they can see the ticket. I worked on a client project where there was some issue, and because they add me, then they will have to pay. So the agent will constantly copy paste things, all the screens. And I'm like, okay, come on. So we added a concept called collaborators. You can bring unlimited collaborators as long as they're not replying to the customer. If you're not replying to the customer, you're not an agent. So then you can see things. You have a read-only not read-only access. You can collaborate within your team. So it's not a read-only. It's just that you should not be replying to the customer, because then you become an agent. So that facilitates better communication, and you don't have to waste time doing copy paste and things like that, right?
I love that. And is that kind of that solution that you're bringing to your software, does that go for all of the softwares that you have?
All the software. Our philosophy is the same, that bring the whole team in.
Yeah.
And based on the usage, although it's not because people don't want to say that, okay, for 5,000 tickets I will pay this much. So we have an agent based thing, like, okay, first 10 agents are free, after that, but collaborators only, and collaborators within your team members. So let's say that tomorrow we get an issue about, hey, the Zapier thing is not working. This engineer's worked on the Zapier. So now you don't need to do copy paste, and then you say, oh, why don't you type this to the customer, and the person will type. Next you get the reply, Come on,
No,
man. I mean, this is just a wastage of everybody's time, right?
100%. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I love that. I bet
So
that.
then you can bring in this guy into add your team as a collaborator. There is unlimited collaborators. There is no cost for it.
Yeah.
So that helps facilitate communication.
No, that's awesome. And the reason that I asked was because there's a lot of use cases, especially for myself, where I want to bring on team members that they don't need the same access that I do for the softwares. I just need them to move a few things around, and I always have to, like you said, pay for an
Correct.
additional seat. So that's
Correct.
awesome. You guys are adding that feature. I
Correct.
bet that everybody that is using Neato is kind of loving it, and that really leads me to my next question. Like, we're always curious from a marketing perspective, like, how are you bringing awareness to Neato? How are you getting in front of your ICP? Is it mainly through word of mouth and people kind of talking to each other about it? Are you guys doing any kind of strategies? I would love to get your idea on that.
100%. There is only one strategy. Our price is so low, and we are competing on the price that once you get to know about the features at the and the cost, then it would be in your mind it should be almost criminal not to tell your friends about it. So that's our marketing strategy. And well, so far it's working. I mean, we are
Yeah.
getting 100, 150 signups every day,
Nice.
and our community, which runs on Slack, is growing. People are joining. People are telling that hey, they told their friends about it.
Perfect.
One of the things, interesting thing is that the our like we don't calculate that NPS etc. But people say that oh, I feel bad because say people are using Neeto Cal or Neeto Record for 6 months or so, and they don't reach 200 videos a month. Because we have 200 every month you can have 200 videos.
Oh, wow.
So then they said that in order to just to pay, the person said that oh, I just upgraded because well after 6 months I thought that I should, but I'm leaving the branding. So I said okay, thank you very much. That was just so that just shows that how much customer, and I'm telling people about it. Yeah, yesterday I don't read I can't read the Spanish, but somebody in Spanish they tagged Neeto that hey, these are like 6 products, Typeform,
Oh, nice.
Zendesk, and these are the alternatives. So I just
I
like
love it.
reposted that on LinkedIn. But this is some person somewhere else just
Yep.
found out about Neeto and is reacting. So exactly, people are telling about others, and we are since. So I wrote that in the pricing philosophy. What typically the companies do is that they charge customers, they take the money, which is fine, and you give the money to Google. You give the money to Google Ads,
Yeah,
you
right.
to get the new customer, and the cycle continues. That's why Google is a $1 trillion company,
Yep.
right? Well, nothing wrong in that, but I feel like okay, so we are taking this money from people and then giving it to Google. Why don't we give this money back to the people?
Yep.
And I'm not asking anything in return, but people are inherently good.
Yeah.
So then they get something which is very high value, and they feel like, dude, compared to the price, this is a good deal. What happens? People out of their goodwill, first of all, it's not a good. You should tell your friends that, hey, why
Yeah.
are you paying this much when this kind of service is available, right? So
1,000%.
people just do. So that's our marketing strategy at this time.
100%. I love it.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
that's awesome. And it all makes sense. It's genuine. Like, I think that's definitely something that's going to keep spreading, kind of like with your guys' pricing philosophy. So I love that. And really, another question that I had are like, do you guys have any specific large goals over the next 12 months for Neato in terms of growth? I know we kind of talked about wanting to bring more software products to that 35, kind of that was your goal. But outside of that, do you guys have any other type of quantifiable goals that you're looking to hit in the next year or so?
I won't say the quantifiable goal, but one thing that I have a lot more appreciation the last 6 months is that talking to people. Like when a customer support comes, depending on like say on the next hour, if I have a meeting or the pressing day, some days are busy days, some days are light days, right?
Yeah.
So there are some days are light when I'm talking and the person happens to be online chatting. Then I say, oh, okay, we are chatting about this issue, and say, okay, wait, do you want to jump on a Zoom call quickly?
Yeah.
I said, the person is available, person jumps in. When you talk to people, I get so much information about how they're using the product, what the pain point. Of course, they asked one particular question that
Yeah.
how do I do this Google Calendar integration,
Uh-huh.
and I sent a help article which solved the problem.
Uh-huh.
But getting on a call is so based on that realization, and then I thought, okay, well, what do we do? I would like to talk to more people, but then of course there are only limited amount of time in a day, right? You
Sure.
cannot just talk to everybody, but month after month has passed. I think that I'm already too late, but I feel like so much benefit comes out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And other thing is that once you get on a call with people, pe- even if you're not solving the problem, people are kind of sold on to the like philosophy of Neeto, or they like it because there is a living, breathing human being in this AI age, etc.
Yeah.
So what we are doing is that we are trying to recruit more people in Neeto right now, whose job will be. I don't know what to call it. We can't call it a kind of customer support,
Yeah.
but not and definitely not business development. The goal is
Yeah.
not, but it's more like understanding the problem what do you have.
Yeah.
Because unlike other companies, we are not a mono product company. We are not just restricted to farm.
Uh-huh.
What we want to know, if you're a small business, what is the pain point?
Yeah.
Where is you're spending the maximum amount of energy, which today technology can solve the problem.
Yep.
Because we can go anywhere as long as we can solve the problem, or it's a solvable and things like that. So anyway, so besides this number of products increasing, I do want to add more people to our team who can talk to people, and not from the point of view selling anything,
Right.
understanding what is the pain point, how can we solve it in a better way, in a better integration. Do we need to bring in a new tool, or
Yep.
what do we need to do? Yeah. So
I
that's
love
it.
that. I think really just identifying what that customer journey looks like. So that way you guys don't get lost in building the technology. You can really be like, oh, this is where there's the most friction, and this is kind of what we can deploy to fix it. So I love that. And I think that will help you guys just continue to grow and build out like a better product as time goes on. And, if there's anybody that watches this podcast and maybe they want to connect with Neeraj, or they want to check out Neeto outside of your guys' website, are you guys more active on any social media platforms than others, like LinkedIn, or do you guys have a good place people can go and check out some of the stuff you guys are doing?
Yeah, so besides the website, you can go to LinkedIn. We are very active in both LinkedIn and Twitter, or X.
Nice.
Yeah, so just anywhere that you can reach out and check. Check things out and ask us any questions you have. Yeah, we and another thing is the customer support. We are very, very like a strong on, because see, I said that other companies, they take the money, they give it to Google, they want to bring in new people, but in the meantime existing people are asking questions.
Right.
Well, we should be answering them properly, like not only just like, okay, and harassing them in terms of, okay, why don't you send me this screenshot and things like that. We try to make it as easy as possible. Of course we need some screenshot, some problems that we are facing, but we have internal structure so that I can send all my engineers, they have their own NeetoCal link. So hey, this is a particularly like an issue with the Windows machine and the voice is not getting recorded, I need to record. Oh, then in that case I can send this person's the lead engineer's thing, hey, why don't you have a call with this person? So all this infrastructure are there so that we can take care of the people who are having some issues.
I love it. I love it. Maybe you can do like a social media campaign, Ask Neeto, or Ask Neeraj.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
The most frequently asked questions. But I'll be sure to include all of the links to your guys' website and social media in the description of this video. I highly recommend that you guys go check out Neeto, especially if you're a business owner, you're somebody that needs software to run their business. Obviously, they're working on a bunch of awesome stuff. Neeraj, I loved having you on the podcast today. I really appreciate your time and your insights today. And we'll catch you guys in the next video.
Oh, thanks, Tyson. It was so much fun.